Alrighty, let's do it. The gamers are here. They had to wait 6 days for it. MaNa did say last Friday that he obviously felt sorry for all my technical difficulties, but he said it's actually a nice thing because I'm very tired today. I had a long day, so I'd rather play on a different day anyway. So MaNa got his wish. It was definitely not my wish, but here we are. 6 days later, it is still going to happen. A PVZ between these two champs. Hello, Nico. Congrats, mate, on the win. I guess that explains your comments before the series. It's an absolute shock I won. You made it a little hard on yourself in Game 4. I kind of felt that Game 4 was a free win. But you made it very, very close. And I was actually afraid that you were going to lose at one point. Or you were going to leave. But in the end, all good. Congrats on the $100. Let's do it, guys. Main event of Big Brain Bouts number 83. It was supposed to happen last Friday. Instead, it happens right here on the Thursday evening.
Let's get it on.
Round 1. Fight!
In the bottom left side of ley lines, we are looking at the main base of our Belarusian Zerg, who was honored for the invite and said he was going to do his absolute best. Did not expect himself to be the main event, but I want to give some love to other gamers too. And this is one of them. He's very active, plays in a lot of things. It is Nikich. And in the top right side, the Polish veteran who had a couple of amazing runs in some of these weekly tournaments and obviously qualified for one of the big tournaments in January as well. So we too promised him an invite, and of course this legend deserves a main invite, or a main event invite. This is MaNa from Team Liquid, the manager. Yeah, we have changed a couple things in the routing of my OBS, and I have honestly no idea what has been changed. And when these changes were made and I saw them, I had an incredibly hard time believing that that was going to magically fix my issues, but it has. There seems to be a problem in the way that OBS runs sometimes with the connection to the Twitch server, and if you change one little thing, it can get fixed. To me, it made no sense, but obviously the issues didn't make any sense in the first place, because I've been using OBS for over a decade, and I very rarely had issues with the program. So don't ask me why suddenly in the year 2025 it decided to give up on me, but we are back. We are back, it works, I'm happy. And I can hopefully just do my thing again this month. I think I've streamed for almost 25 hours now and I've had absolutely zero issues, so. It's honestly gonna take probably at least another week or two of having flawless streams before I'm 100% convinced it's all in the past, but last Friday I couldn't even stream for an hour and a half without it crashing. The day before I had 3 crashes, even though they were slightly different, they were technically the same. And yeah, ever since Sunday morning I still crashed, and then we changed a few more things. Sunday night it works, Monday it worked. Tuesday, I don't know, I didn't stream because I had a busy day. But yesterday it worked, and today it worked so far. So I am happy. MaNa is going to go for what has been working for him, and that is a Stargate opening with an Oracle. Stalker, very adventurous by the way, far on the other side of the map. Don't think it's going to get the Overlord, but at least it knows where it's at. We're expecting a lot of Archon drops here. MaNa loves his Oracle into Templar Archives, a Robo, etc. Couple Archons, and take the game from there. Nikich probably knows that he's going to have to switch it up a little bit throughout the series, because even though Nikich is an incredibly good Zerg, MaNa is going to be a little bit better in the games where very little happens. If you both just let them build up their dream army, MaNa with all his experience should have a pretty decent edge. But obviously, the key for Nikich is to make the games a bit odd, give his opponent some looks that may not necessarily be what they look like, and try to surprise him. It's a decent amount of links, by the way, so MaNa has to be very, very careful with that Oracle, because he's playing single Oracle into Archon drop. He's got very little DPS as we speak. No shield battery here either yet. No, Oracle is almost here, can activate Pulsar Beam, but the Link should absolutely be able to kill the Adept. Wouldn't hate it if he goes for that Pylon. I actually think killing Pylons is pretty big. But did not want to go for it, did not feel like it was worth losing 8 or 10 links over. Wow. Lings is so fast. I didn't even know you could do that with Zerglings, to be honest. Walks in range of the stasis trap, activates it, and not a single Zergling got stuck. I know you can do that with Blink Stalkers and Warp Prism Micro. Or a very quick pickup with a medevac, as Clem showed us, but I didn't know Zerglings were that quick. Belarusian Zerg is going to go up to 4 bases. MaNa's got his Archons morphing on the bottom side of the map, supported by 1 Oracle with a lot of energy, to be fair. 175 energy on this Oracle. Could just activate Pulsar Beam and let the Archons attack this hatchery and it should be an easy kill. Oh, Warp Prism a little bit exposed. You don't want to take too much damage on that Prism. Even if MaNa doesn't end up losing the Prism here, guys, taking that much damage on it is not nice. Now you might not even get the cancel on the hatchery, to be fair. And we've got Roaches showing up as well. MaNa really wants it. The stasis. Oh, it's a kill. Well, I was right about not getting the cancel. Nikich, by dancing around the stasis trap for a little bit too long, allows MaNa to get all the shots off and straight up kill the hatch. That is not the start that the underdog was looking for, guys. No, I don't think MaNa will cannon rush this series, unless maybe he takes a very convincing 2-0 lead and he thinks there's not a worry in the world, but as I've said many times on a Friday night, and I'll gladly say it on a Thursday night too, winning $150 of prize money in StarCraft 2 is very hard. In almost every scenario, you're gonna have to defeat Clem or Max Packs to do that. So, if you get invited to the Big Brain Bouts to play a single series for $150, people do not mess around. They're not gonna try to be funny and show some cool builds. MaNa, obviously a man from Poland, 150 buckies. I don't know how many Polish zloty that is right now, but I assume it's like 650 or something. Then you're just gonna do your best and you're not gonna go for the same builds as you do in your YouTube content creation series. I think it's quite over 600. Because it used to be a little bit better already with the euro. I assume it's like 650. Anyway, TLDR. It's a lot of Polish money. I'm sure MaNa could think of a few nice ways to spend it. That's a lot of Archons, by the way. This is now turning into an old school Petit Drogo move out. When you look at the clock, guys, and it's 7 minutes 40 seconds into the game, and look at this freaking Protoss army. It doesn't have crazy micro potential, but it's big, man. It has a ridiculous amount of HP, and it's big. No transfuse on that first queen, and that's a real shame because that queen had a lot of energy. Now the second queen that was carrying all the extra energy is very close to falling, but in the end we save it. Nikich is buying time with his Roach counter, but he is going to have to fight his army. Got 7 Hydras, that's decent, but is that enough? Thank the Lord for Nikich that MaNa doesn't have an observer here, because creep is so incredibly important, but it's mostly the Ravages and Hydras moving back. The Roaches just stood their ground. And that's not exactly the ground to stand on. He is starting to chip through the Archon count. He's getting one. Get that Warp Prism then. Had a little bit of anti-air there, but he doesn't have Hydra range yet and probably didn't feel confident in clicking on it. Maybe he can barely hold here, but obviously holding well. Once more losing your 4th base and losing every single queen, losing drones is going to be painful. Unless MaNa loses everything here. I don't know, MaNa might be overstaying his welcome a little bit. There is no HP at all on these Archons. So the Archons died, one of the Immortals has died. Maybe the Warp Prism will fall. Can the Hydras kill it? The Hydras should be able to kill it. The Hydras will somehow not kill it. Oh my god, MaNa! I have no idea how that Prism is alive. I have no idea how that Immortal is alive. MaNa has been losing a lot of probes though on the other side of the map to the Roaches that were originally stuck in the stasis. Now, MaNa really got a bit too carried away, guys. Sure, he killed a lot, but he lost so much, and then losing all the workers at home as well actually makes this a bit of a problematic situation. Especially because now Roaches are cheap, Zerglings are cheap, Immortals are expensive, but he still has 3 of them. One of them very low, second one a little bit low. Sentry dies there, by the way, to Corrosive Ball. If MaNa can stabilize up to the point where he's got Storm, he's got +2, then it might not be that bad. I think MaNa should have been happy at one point when he had 2 very low HP Archons left inside of the War Prism, and he could have just walked back with the 2 healthy Immortals, the Prism. I think he should have been happy with what he got done at that point. Focus on the defense. At that point, he hadn't quite lost all the workers yet on the 3rd. I'm afraid that the Polish Protoss, definitely the favorite coming into this series, stuck around a bit too long, but he does have Storm now. And we have 6 High Templars even. 6 High Templars is a decent amount of High Templars. Nikich is testing the waters here, wondering if he can kill some more gates or if he can get a free pickoff maybe on the War Prism. Nope, does not get it. It's a Storm instead that clips a lot of the Ravages and Hydras. Gonna pull the army out of position. Whoa, High Templars Omega exposed here. We do more of them into an Archon. But that's still 3 out of the 6 High Templars dying for very, very little. And the Belarusian Zerg is gonna make his way into the natural of MaNa. And that means that Pylon and an unpowered Robo. Snipe that Prism! If you snipe the Prism, you win. Aye. Instead we get stormed. And we lose 10 roaches. And there are Zealots counterattacking. Man, the guys are gaming. The first game of the main event of the Big Brain Bouts number 83. It's actually turning into quite something. Hive almost done. Now 4 Archons on the way. If we get a few more High Templars, I would say that you need Storm though. Maybe MaNa thinks that Nikich is like very broke and he can't really afford to remake the Hydras and Roaches he lost, but I mean MaNa did good economic damage. Killed 27 drones and 2 hatcheries, but he didn't do that much damage that there is nothing left. Now these Storms are monstrous. This base is actually in a bit of trouble. Nikich still has a lot of supply on the other side of the map. Can he snipe that Prism? All it takes is like 2 Hydras from this side. Right click on the Prism and you have it, mate. Oh, now I feel like Nikich is kind of throwing, even though he was so close to winning this game. And now he loses the base, loses 13 drones as well. Had a bunch of lurkers morphing, cancelled all of them. Is there a Storm left? Yes, there is absolutely a Storm left. And I assume that we're going to make this Storm count. The Hydras here are going to be good though. This is maybe a good fight for Roaches, Hydras and drones. I think it's a very good fight. I think it's a very good fight for Nikich, who snipes the Prism. Can the Zealots save the day? 2 Archons. The Zealots definitely have a very big impact here, but I still believe in the Zerg units, especially on creep. Archon dies, Immortal dies, all the Zealots die. And now Nikich is even more broke than MaNa is. Hive is done. But the Zerg is even more broke than the Protoss. MaNa is such a reckless video gamer. He always has been throughout his entire career. Even during his most successful gaming days. He's always been a little aggressive. And he will definitely sometimes stick around a little bit longer than he should. He might still get away with it here in the end. Oh. I feel that Nikich should not have counted with those Roaches. He should have just been happy with the damage that he dealt here, and then obviously here he got stormed. If he would have just had everything at home, I think he takes an amazing fight. But by countering with all the Roaches, not getting much done, actually kind of running through a meat grinder, we took a bad fight at home. We lost the base, we lost drones. Yeah, and now he's got Vipers, and you guys obviously know I love the Viper, but I don't really know what it's going to do here. Maybe abduct an Immortal? Oh. Bit of a Game of Thrones. Obviously later on MaNa did finally bring an Observer as well. I don't know if the 44 drone lurker play is really going to be it for the man from Belarus. Hello Todd. I have successfully installed Warcraft, mate, so I guess all I need to do is make an account quickly and I'm good to go. MaNa is gonna lose an Archon almost immediately. He's storming his own Observer. Protoss. Protoss players never truly fail to amaze me. Maybe an Abduct on an Archon, maybe an Immortal gets the Immortal as well. Yep. Oh, decent value out of the Vipers. Huh? The absolute icing on the cake for this game would be Nikich still winning it. But I have no idea how he's supposed to win this. Then Mixu was talking about that hell for the Zergs. I'm pretty certain that it was something like this. It was definitely not Cham against Disc on Alcyone. But it probably looked a little bit like this. You think MaNa is throwing? I don't think he's throwing. He might throw, but he's definitely... Okay, well, this is actually a pretty amazing fight. A couple of the lurkers do die. An Archon dies, an Immortal dies, High Templar dies. Pretty good fight, but MaNa's up 15 workers. And he's a 4-base Protoss. He should be fine. I don't like this. I do not think that this is a Fleet Beacon moment. I think this game right now is a little bit too much on a knife's edge to be investing in something as expensive as a Fleet Beacon. I would just spam Archons, Immortals, Zealots, Storm, couple cannons, couple batteries, work on some vision, and you'll be okay because you're winning the economic war. Like a Fleet Beacon is not going to help you right now when there is a Zerg army knocking on your front door and High Templar is in the wrong spot. Archons go in a different way. Oh, MaNa, matey. What is happening? Now MaNa's gonna try to get on top of this army. Does kind of surround it. He's gonna come in from 2 angles. Does MaNa have enough to kill all these lurkers? It's starting to look like it, right? The Immortal engagement from the bottom is incredibly good. Nice surround by MaNa. Very well done. Whew. Imagine if you lose detection there, by the way, guys. That'd be very painful. Drops a couple storms. Nikich is running away. Does have another little Roach Hydra counterattack. And I say Roach Hydra, I mean a bunch of roaches and literally 1 Hydra. And it's actually gonna... That's cute. Oh, unfortunately it's not a full wall, but... I love the idea there. I'm trying to morph a couple of the low HP roaches into Ravages. Forcing the Zealots to derp. Excellent cleanup against all those lurkers. And you think that it's impossible for Nikich with his 50-something drone economy to keep fighting like this. He's making more Vipers. I mean, I am a Viper believer, but I think we're too broke for Vipers at this point. I believe in Vipers when you've got money, when you've got time, if there is a real window to capitalize on their strength. If we literally need every single bit of DPS that we can get our hands on to deal with Immortals and Archons, I don't think it's really the moment for Vipers either. GG. After 18 minutes, it is the Polish veteran MaNa who takes the 1-0 lead. Bit of a bizarre game, I'm not going to lie. Today is a very short day of casting, but you can't say that we're not having exciting games. The Goblin versus Nikich game on Ultra Love was ridiculous, and this one was definitely out there too. Looked very good for MaNa for a bit, and then it looked amazing for Nikich, then it looked great for MaNa again, then it kind of looked like Nikich was... I said Nikich, but I meant Nikich. Was still going to win. Unfortunately... I think the moment he split off those roaches to attack the 4th and then run them into the 3rd, he needed those units at home. If he had those at home, I really don't think he loses his own 4th base. I don't think he loses the economic lead. I think he'd be fine. I don't know what we're trying to do, Mr. J Bean 76, but if you want to whine about Protoss, you can do that elsewhere, amigo. I am not in the mood to sit here for another 10 years and listen to everything being overpowered. There are plenty of channels out there where you can act like you're a teenager and you can cry over everything, or maybe you are a teenager, but I'm not going to do that. So, either just enjoy the games, enjoy the show, be nice and respectful to whoever wins and loses, or very politely, fuck off and go elsewhere. If I have to listen to all this whining non-stop all day, every day, you're gonna have to lock me up in an asylum. And I don't want that. SC Pain, same thing go for you, mate. Stop the balance whining. Guys, there's 0 tolerance on balance whining. You wanna whine, go elsewhere. Or say nothing. But I'm not doing that. Round 2.
Round 2. Fight!
Bottom left side on El Dorado. We are looking at the main base of the man who played an amazing first game. Unfortunately for him, it didn't quite go his way. But safe to say that if he can keep that level and he can fine-tune a few little things, he can absolutely make this a more than competitive series. This is Nikich from Belarus. Bottom right side of El Dorado, the Polish veteran. A little reckless from time to time, and definitely overstays his welcome. If I ever throw an amazing house party, I would love to have him because I think he's an incredibly fun guy and he's very nice. He's a legend. But if he stays as long at my party as he stays in some of these fights, I'll probably never go to sleep. This is MaNa. Twelve pools are definitely a thing. And we've even seen a couple 12 pool drone pools. There was a little era in Starcraft 2 history where a lot of the Zergs would just casually open up 12 pool and don't really even plan on getting a whole lot done. They didn't even want to throw away their Zerglings. And it was truly just considered to be a macro opening, hoping to be ahead. At one point they kind of gave up on that. And now we are definitely in the category of 12 pool is quite committed. But you still see it from time to time. Especially if the Zergs pick up on some of the Protoss players not scouting. And there are quite a few Protosses out there who don't scout. Which I think is crazy against Zerg. Because you're playing a very, very dangerous game, obviously. I can sort of understand not scouting against Terran. I can sort of understand not scouting against Protoss. Even though I don't think that's very good at all. Against Zerg, I really don't understand it. It's pure greed. And there are some scenarios where you're just straight up dead. 12 pools have worked for Raynor against the likes of Skillus in some of the big tournaments in the past. I think Raynor even 12 pooled Skillus on Golden Aura in the WTL playoffs. In the Basilisk versus Team Liquid Clan War back then. And obviously we saw Raynor 12 pool drone pool successfully against MaxPack since MaxPack didn't scout. You mean Slivko, Rito? There was one person leading the way. You mean Cats? Cats was not at that point. I don't know who you're thinking of, but I mean, a lot of people 12 pulled for a little while, but there was definitely not one guy leading the charge. There was a time that Nurture would 12 pull to play macro. There was a time Lambo 12 pull to macro. Sure, some of the Swedish Zergs like Zenster and sort of did it for a bit, but not one person that was really truly known for it or always doing it. We think of crazy Zergs. Obviously, Cats was a crazy Zerg, but not quite at the level of the top Europeans. Very good though from time to time, but not when it comes to top 8, top 16 Europe. MaNa is first to adapt. Let their shade finish into the main base. If you get both of them here, if you're Nikich, does he get both? It's so close. He does get both. For only 2 drones, yeah, we'll take that. Now, the Oracle is going to go to the other side of the map. There is only one queen at the moment in the main, but second queen almost out. Nikich is definitely hoping that MaNa will not go in. MaNa, unfortunately for Nikich, does go in. Oh. Because of the adapts, guys, the sport just a little bit too late. Really good follow-up. The Zerglings, what can they get done? They can get a cancel on the Robo. That might even be a kill. No, it's just a cancel. That does mean that the Lynx get in. MaNa at this point, guys, has 0 DPS. He uses energy recharge. And they're still going to lose a couple workers. Great tiny little Zergling counter here by the Belarusian Zergy. Getting a cancel on the Robo is excellent. Hello? Hello? Oh. That is so sad. That is so sad. Imagine if the Oracles fly into the Queens now. There's no anti-air here at all. This Queen, by the way, absolute hero. This Queen is an absolute hero. That Queen actually just gave its life for like 17 drones in the third. And this game is just pure chaos right now. It's a bit of a mess on the side of Nikich. It should have been good for him. It really should have been good, but that was painful. But instead of losing 10 drones there, we lost 2 drones and a queen. We'll definitely take that. Hey, there's nothing here, man. The doors are wide open. It's all out offense, absolutely 0 defense. This is what I hope to see in the Super Bowl this weekend. Give us a high scoring game, guys. Go Eagles. Fly Eagles. Not even a pylon near the third. No shield battery, no way to warp in, nothing. And now MaNa, by the way, has got a very casual 6-minute Dark Shrine. I'm so confused, man. Maybe he saw those queens leave and he's like, man, I'm getting queen walked. It's a hatchery tag all in. I need some defensive DTs. There is a spore in every mineral line, right? Well, spore on the third is a little bit late, but we're getting there. No energy on this oracle. Actually, there's some energy. There's 50 energy on this oracle. Looked like there was no energy. Protoss Buster. The Lings don't care though, and that's still going to be at least a couple of dead probes. Make it 4, 5, 6 perhaps. Yeah, not too bad. Here come the DTs. It is 4 DTs at once. Does Nikich see it? He drops the Spire. DTs could kill the Spire, by the way. That's an expensive kill. You know, he wants more. He wants the Spore. He's going to get the Spore. Nikich, baby, what are we looking at? What are we looking at? Overseer morphing. Do we have energy on the queens? He's got 1 transfuse here. He's going to try to push the DTs away. It doesn't quite work. We save it. We save it. War Prism comes in. He gets it. But the queens can get the prism, right? Can they? No, they won't get it. Oh, my God. Oh. Nikich loses the hatchery in the natural. A lot of mining time. 1 DT did die, but... that hurts. And of course, the Spire immediately revealed as well. Did Zealot Charge finish up? No, he cancelled Zealot Charge and went Blink instead. I'm a little bit worried. It's a shame. This really could have gone so much better for Nikich. And the first game obviously was that as well. And now it just kind of feels like we've got nothing. We've got 10 roaches, but we don't even have roach speed. 2 Archons and a bunch of Stalkers with Blink are about to attack us. I'm afraid that the man from Belarus is just kind of dead. A few too many beauty arrows in this game. Misrallying the queens. Tries to snipe the prism. And oh my goodness, when it rains it pours. The 1 HP prism stays alive. Gets another warp in. And that is going to do it. 2-0 lead for the Polish legend. 1 map away from winning 150 buckies. It's a shame. It really is a shame. Could have been an amazing game for Nikich. The start was promising. That tiny Ling counter was great. Ling run by on the third was great. But Queen's out of position and just a very late reaction against the DTC. Didn't see it until the Spore was basically dead. Couldn't save the hatchery. He's playing well. Unfortunately, he's not quite able to close it out. Yeah, but I don't think league like numbers are the only thing that matters for me, Nikich. I've seen enough. Obviously, we know that Protoss is performing well right now against the Zerg, and we know that MaNa is obviously still excellent, makes it to like the finals of some of the weekly cups, but I've seen enough of Nikich to know that he is more than capable of putting up a fight. Only thing I want to whine about is not enough time to play the game or to watch Roddy and all the other amazing creators. Thank you for years of great games. Thank you, Wookie Man, for the 25 months. A real Naniwa in the chat. Always a real Naniwa. If it was a fake Naniwa, I would have banned him. Because I don't deal with impersonators. Definitely the real one, amigo. You can also click on his profile and then you can see it's the real one. Instead of asking chat.
Round 3.
Fight!
Top right side of Amygdala. A very close game 1 and a pretty close game 2. That they both could have gone his way. The first one absolutely should have gone his way. Unfortunately, we are here down 0-2. This was the main event of the Big Brain Bouts number 83. But this is live, of course. These are not replays. They had to wait 6 days to play their games. And that's why we're doing it today. Because my OBS was dying on me last week. This is the Belarusian Zergi and Nikich. Bottom left side of Amygdala. We're looking at the main base. Well, I said if he's up to 0, then you guys may get to see it. Someone asked earlier, is he going to cannon rush? Well, I said if he takes the 2-0 lead and he does it convincingly, then there is a chance that we'll have some fun with cannons, and that is what he's going for. This is Team Liquid's MaNa, the manager. 1 map away from winning 150 bucks. And he is confident enough that it is time for some cannons. Uh-oh, this is bad. Does seem like there is a... Oh, no, he's stuck, right? He's stuck. I don't think that's... Is that good? I don't know. I feel like Nikich can pull even more drones. Oh, there's another probe coming. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Cancel. Alright, now we need to somehow find a way to keep this probe away from this area. I would pull more drones at this point. You cannot let any cannons go up here. One cannon does go up. No, this is good for Nikich, I think. As long as you get the cancel. Mate, your drone is not fighting. Okay, that's good. He's totally fine. He is totally fine right now. The Belarusian is totally fine. MaNa is gonna kill this pylon so his probe can free up. But now there is obviously creep, so he can't build too many cannons nearby. And by the way, this pylon is already a bit low in HP. There is no queen being built though. That is actually a bit scary. No, this one will. The Zealot is stuck. Jeez Louise, MaNa. One more probe comes in. The Zergling surround on the Zealot is immediate. What are we going for? He's going for the pylon. Yeah, go for the pylon. Unpower everything. Oh, that's close. That's close. Oh my god, he doesn't get it. Oh no, that's heartbreaking. I love that call, to be honest, but he does not get it. The probe really helping out a little bit there as well. We now go for a link counter. Uh-oh. Is this cannon reaching it? I mean, Nick is definitely now in some trouble. I don't know if it's all the trouble yet. A lot of things have gone wrong for MaNa in this cannon rush. He needs to... I think the links can probably break whatever MaNa warps in here, no? I think the links can break this in time. The links can absolutely break this in time. Oh, now go for the cannon. Always just go full send for that cannon. Full send for that cannon. That's a really good play by Nikich. An excellent play. Might lose his hatch, but then it's one base against one base. And then there are Zerglings in the main base of MaNa. MaNa does not have a cannon in his main. Obviously, this entire low ground area is in shambles. Everything is unpowered. Banelings are morphing. Broodlings. The hatchery has died. It's one base against one base. It is Wings of Liberty Gaming. Well, a Belarusian Zerg. I don't know if everything went according to plan for him. But he's going to be able to get his first win on the board here in the main event of the Big Brain Bouts. He says, you ain't turning me into content. Even though it got a bit scary. Once or twice it got a little bit scary. But he gets one on the board. Now I think that's the only cannon rush you'll see. So yeah, it was actually a really good question. Whoever asked it, I don't remember the username, but whoever asked, will MaNa cannon rush in this series? The answer apparently is yes. If he takes a 2-0 lead and he is confident, he is willing to give it a shot. Should have evacuated the probes and rebuilt in the Zerg natural. I don't think that would go very well, mate. Also, don't forget that then Nikich could just spread creep on the high ground and he can have spine crawlers from his own natural chipping away at the low ground stuff. So, out of all the bases that you could take, the one that you really don't want to have is the one in the natural of your opponent. Also, it is going to be very hard to evacuate through a couple of banelings morphing on your ramp. More of a shock move, like, is he for real? I think Nikich has enough game understanding to know how big certain investments are and that it's very hard to transition out of them. Alrighty. Previous series, obviously we started at best of 5 and it was 1-1 and that's where the stream died last week. It went to distance. Can this one, perhaps surprisingly, go to distance as well? I'd be very happy. A, I'd be happy for Nikich, and B, I'd feel that I was right in the fact that I think that Nikich can make this a competitive series. Even if he's an underdog, I don't think he's a 95% underdog. That's a bit much. Here we go. Round 4.
Round 4.
Fight!
Top left side of Whispers of Gold. We are looking at the main base of our Belarusian Zerg and getting one on the board against the cannons of his opponent. Can we win another one? This is Nikich. The natural is the base next to your opponent's main. So what somebody said is that MaNa should have taken the natural of Nikich, but that doesn't really work, right? Because Nikich's main can then attack the natural, which is normally his natural, but then would become MaNa's main. Whatever. That doesn't make any sense, but that's what would happen. If MaNa would take this base as his main, he would take Nikich's natural as his main, but then Nikich can just attack the main base of MaNa that is supposed to be his natural from the high ground. Bottom right side, guys. The Polish legend. He's still up 2-1 and no cannons this time. One map away from winning 150 buckies. It is MaNa. No, exactly. It was a silly suggestion. We're talking about it for a little bit longer right now than we should. A lot of things went wrong there for MaNa in that cannon rush. Obviously, the Zealot got trapped. He couldn't get a second cannon up a little bit quicker. And also, I think he was greedy, because if MaNa would have just built that gateway at home a little bit earlier, right, where he saw the Lynx leave, and clearly he knew that it was coming, but he wanted to wall off at the absolute last second, spend his money on the other side of the map, was a little bit greedy. If he would have just gone full wall immediately, that gateway has way more HP, the cannon will finish up, then I think he's honestly in a pretty good spot. Then it's going to be one base against one base, a real one base against one base scenario, not where everything on the low ground of the Protoss is unpowered. Yeah, I think you can easily hold that. If he just full walls a lot quicker, even like 10 seconds quicker would have been good enough, right? Because then the cannon is done. And you could still cancel whatever you were building there too. I think that would have made a very big difference. I obviously don't know exactly how much money he had, what he was spending it on the other side of the map, but yeah, I always think it's fun. I'm skizzy, but mostly looking forward to the real start. I do feel like we're getting closer, you know. February is where there's more and more news around F1, and soon we'll have testing, I guess, as well. But yeah, there's plenty of other things to get excited over. It's been very busy in the world of Starcraft lately. We are counting down the days for the EWC announcement. We've got a Super Bowl to look forward to. Next week, Feyenoord against Milan. And then after that, I'll get very excited for F1. Gabe is coming to BBB. Tomorrow. yeah. For some reason, I read Home Story Cup and I was like, I guess, but Home Story Cup is far away. I don't know why that would be a big announcement. But you're right, guys. Tomorrow night, the main event will be Raynor versus Hero Marine. Basically an all-Italian main event. As Gabe did represent Italy in the StarCraft 2 tournament in the Olympic Village in 2018. The one that Scarlet won. I think, I have the replay on, so we can do that. Obviously, if you know things that are coming in advance, you can always make the correct choices. But I think with a full wall off, yeah, MaNa can get his cannon up, and then he can truly play his one base against one base scenario. It's a 4-minute lair coming out of the Belarusian Zerg in Nikich. He's got 3 queens here. Obviously, we can't make any big misclicks with those queens this time. MaNa's gone up to 3 bases very quick. And it has a pretty normal setup. Woo-hoo. That is a 3 HP Oracle. The Giga Chat Spore Crawler gets 1 hit off. And the Oracle, well, it lives. But it's not very convincing. What do we think Nikich is going to do with this quick lair, guys? He has been pretty fond of Nidus attacks in the past. He can definitely play like Dark as well if he feels like it. A lot of Queens, Lynx, Banes. Maybe just like a little Rochal in, especially knowing that you've dropped this first Oracle to 3 HP. A very quick Spire, I guess, is an option. He goes very quick Hydras. And then just, we send it. Pureling Hydra. Maybe it's okay. Oh, we can get on top of... Oh, that would have been a catch. That would have been a catch. Now you just follow this prism, though. Just being near this prism, guys, is already a big win. MaNa now has to warp the High Templars in at home. Has to send the prism all the way back to pick them up. And Nikich's Hydra then is almost done. And of course, MaNa does not get any info now at all on what is happening on the other side of the map, what Nikich is cooking. Imagine if these Hydras can just snipe the Prism. Imagine if these Hydras can snipe that Oracle. I really like this game for Nikich. At this point, as long as he doesn't do anything too silly, I want to say I really like this game for Nikich. But he does end up losing one of the queens very quickly. But here come the Lynx and the Hydras are out. The one Archon is absolutely going to die. That is inevitable. The second Archon dies as well. Now the Oracle will die. Don't kill the Oracle then, mate. If the Queen would have attacked the Oracle, he would have been able to have that one too. But still, getting the 2 Archons like that is actually big. It's almost starting to look like that was just a masterful bait where he says, you know what, I am okay losing these queens. Because the longer this battle goes on, the more likely it is that I can guarantee the kill on those Archons. And well, he was not wrong. It's starting to look like 2-2, man. If Nikich does not mess this up, I really do believe in the power of Hydra Link. Storm is nowhere near done. Cannon is almost done. Stasis Trap is quite good. But this Protoss army is so weak. It's all about them cannons. But the first cannon dies. That barrier of the Immortal gets activated. The Oracle dies. Slow Zealots have 0 impact. Even the 2 Immortals at a time that MaNa can build are not great against Hydras. Slow Zealots, useless. The Sentry, almost useless. The Cannon is important, but the Cannon will fall. The Archon, very important, but it's very low as well. Is that Cannon Rush going to haunt MaNa a little bit tonight, as it's starting to look like the Belarusian Zerg is gonna tie things up? So much for this being a super one-sided series, eh guys? It's almost like Roddy still knows what he's talking about, even though that battery overcharge is good. I want to believe that the Hydras can just win here. The Hydras should always win. The Immortals are fantastic units. But this is not the fight for Immortals. Against pure Hydra Ling, it is a nightmare scenario. GG gets called. And for the second time, we are going to Game 5. Hey. Wasn't Cobblestone against Magnet last Friday also went to Game 5, right? So, obviously, it turned out to be one of the worst BBBs ever because of all my OBS issues. But if it would have just been one straight night, it would have been a 3-2, a 3-0, a 3-2, and a 3-2. Actually, kind of a goated performance. 3 out of 4 series going to distance. Yeah, if you're MaNa now, you definitely do start getting a tiny bit nervous, where you're like, oh, come on, why did I do that? Why did I cannon rush? Did I really have to cannon rush? Yeah, I saw it too, Bully. It's okay. To me, it doesn't matter at all. I think you can see in the way that I'm speaking that I'm obviously sarcastic, but there's always people who don't take it sarcastic. And then you've got people who will get angry at me for whatever reason. And then you have other people who will say, but even if we get EWC, it's too late. And well, yeah, I just wrote a little comment to explain where the meme came from, and that's it. I am done with doing a service to Reddit and writing essays just to get completely shit on by randoms that watch Starcraft for 10 minutes a week. Last time I tried to give some useful feedback about 10 ranged Colossus, I got flamed by 4 different people. This is not worth it. Like, you know, I'm done.
Final round. Fight!
But I thought it would be worth to at least explain the Year of the Rabbit meme a little. I'm getting a lot of clicks on it though, Bully, so in that way you're helping me, Matt. Those Roddy clips are going viral, baby. That it will and will not happen, yeah. Doesn't matter. What does matter, guys, is the third Game 5 of a single Big Brain Bouts. Now, once more it was split up. We played 2 series last Friday. We finished the event finally today. Goblin Nikorok went to distance, and these guys, perhaps surprisingly, go to distance as well. On the top right side of Frostline, we are looking at the main base of MaNa. I just hope that when they do announce it, everybody knows that it's the Year of the Rabbit after all. And they will announce it, Bully. Right, guys? What could possibly go wrong in the Year of the Rabbit? Year of the Snake? You might be a snake pie, but it's the Year of the Rabbit, mate. No, you're not a snake. Unless you play Viper, then you're a snake. Besides that, you're just a... Yeah, I know. That came out wrong. That's mean. You're not a snake. You're a lot of things, Spy. You're bad at Starcraft. You're very bad at Deadlock. You're pretty good at Mechabellum. But you're absolutely not a snake. You're a sweetheart. Alright. Back to Frostline. Bottom left side of our Belarusian Zerg. Can he, surprisingly, win this best of 5? I did... Ooh, gets the probe. That's nice.
First blood.
Obviously, when I made this matchup, guys, I'm aware he's the underdog, but I had faith in him. I really thought that he's good enough, that he's clever enough to turn this into a series. And so far, he is backing up that statement. And he's making me look like a bit of a genius. Smarter than a Legalak. This is Nikich. Marcin, in the year of the rabbit, it's always confirmed. It's confirmed in the year of the rabbit. That's where we are at right now. Guys, I am in no position ever to be the official announcement of Starcraft at the Esports World Cup. You know, there is not going to be a... Like, if the entire scene is waiting for some news, you will never find this news on a random... Whether it's Monday, Thursday, Friday, in this case, random Thursday evening, 7 p.m. on a day where I didn't even do my gel, didn't do my hair, I didn't put any wax or gel in my hair. I'm just kind of sitting here like a little hobo, having fun with my video game. This will never ever be the moment that EWC will be announced. If there is somehow a world where they want me to be the face of that announcement, I promise you guys that I'll dress up a little. I'll set the mood. I'll light a candle. I'll help up the announcement of an announcement. That won't happen 3 minutes and 22 seconds into MaNa versus Nikich. Unfortunately, that's not a thing. It would be very cool if I could just like casually drop that. Be like, guys, letting you know, confirmed. But that's not how it works. Now you can obviously just clip that part and share that and then be like, it's confirmed again. If you guys see me go live with a bow tie sometime soon, and I'm promising you guys a monstrous announcement, it could mean two things. One, I pulled an Umbreon out of one of these Pokemon packs, and I'll host a really cool tournament myself. Two, EWC confirmed by me. But until I go live with a bow tie, neither of those things has happened. I got 15 Bitcoins. I don't even have 15 Satoshis. And I believe you can have a lot of Satoshis. Anyway, enough about all this nonsense. Nothing is confirmed. But I can tell you though, guys, that I have a very good feeling about EWC. As a man who feels things very often. And is more often right than wrong in everything. Whether it comes down to predicting the amount of workers that will go down, or who's going to win a series, or who can make a fun, close series. I predict this to be a banger of a Game 5, and I've got a good feeling about it. Yeah, if I was sitting on 15 Bitcoins, I wouldn't be living in Zuidland with a bunch of neighbors on the left and on the right. Even though I like Zuidland. I'd probably still be living in Zuidland. Just not here. I wouldn't have a streaming setup in the middle of my living room that makes living hard for Vicky. Like, if I was sitting on 15 Bitcoins, I'd have a dedicated studio, mate. But I'm sitting in the living room because we don't have those. I live in Zuidlandfire. Zuidland is near RotterdaM, but it's not quite RotterdaM. It's just a little village. 5,000 people, or maybe 6,000 people, whatever. A couple High Templars have morphed into Archons. So MaNa is going back to the build that he has been spamming out lately. Rinse and repeat. A single Oracle into a Archon drop and follow-up. Last game, Nikich was able to get away with a very quick lair. This time, he got away with a very quick lair. I am sure that MaNa will not make that mistake again of losing either two Archons or the Prism. Right, guys? Right? This time, the Oracle is a lot more healthy, too. That should help out. Prism has snuck into the main. We're going to warp in a couple Zealots. Charge is definitely not done yet. Archons will get some hits off on the drones. It's damage, but it's all a little bit clumsy so far. Stasis Trap was quite decent in the third. MaNa cannot afford to lose Archons. And sometimes I think you don't even want to see your Archons drop down to like 10 HP. Because that also means that you're a little bit vulnerable to a counter. I think at this point, guys, MaNa needs to stop building probes and start building cannons and batteries, because Nikich is going to be very aggressive. Like he was very aggressive last game. Maybe he's not quite as committed this time, but MaNa, stop building probes, mate. He's already up 11 workers. I would say just get a couple cannons, batteries, and you're fine. He's getting one cannon. Maybe MaNa is just ultra confident that this time he can clap this. The Hydras are hunting, hoping to get lucky and sniping that War Prism, but that ain't happening. MaNa full of confidence. I mean, he will have Storm. He's got 4 High Templars out. He can use energy recharge. So it's definitely looking very good for MaNa. This looks much, much better than last game. I still think with like 2-3 cannons, you're absolutely flying. Now I feel like we are 2 bad storms away from still being in trouble. But hey, MaNa is one of the most successful Protoss players in Starcraft 2 history. And some people might think that that's a dramatic statement, but he really is. Just look at the amount of prize money that he's won. Look at the tournaments that he's won. The amount of final appearances. MaNa really is one of the most successful Protoss players. And if he feels that he's got enough, well, then he probably has enough. Let's see. This could be it for Game 5 for the main event. Nikich has already lost quite a few Zerglings. He's definitely not getting a lot done. He is now eating the first few big storms. And MaNa is indeed cooking. He's making this, I want to say, look easy so far. This is very bad news, guys, for the Belarusian Zerg, who was obviously hoping for a little miracle, was hoping to run away with Game 5. Instead, nothing goes his way. MaNa smashes this before it even truly felt like an attack. Dropped a couple storms, took a good fight with Archons and Zealots at the bottom side of the map. Don't think MaNa quite needs to go up a ramp on creep without detection. Well, he's got 1 Oracle. MaNa's just mega confident. Does lose one of the High Templars. I mean, if MaNa doesn't do anything silly, this is always a win. I think going this deep on creep, honestly, a little bit risky. I don't think it's really needed. And MaNa might be fine, guys. MaNa might just win the game in the next 15 seconds. He's off 30 supply, but it is a little bit risky to go this deep on creep. But he's doing it well. He's splitting up his army. He's letting the Zealots do their thing in the natural. The Hydras do find a good fight against an Immortal. They now turn around for that Prism. They need to get the Prism before the Zealots. They do get it, but it's all just a little bit too late. MaNa, in the end, does not get punished for his little cannon rush adventure in Game 3. And the favorite will win his best of 5 in a 3-2 scoreline. He gets $150 from Basilisk. And Nikich will still get 50 for playing. Bit of a shame at that final game. Obviously hoped for a little more back and forth. Hoped for a bit more like that first game that we saw, where we did get up to high, where we did get to see some lurkers. Can't blame Nikich for just trying the same thing again, because you can obviously get a lot of cheap, easy wins with Hydraling. But yeah, if the first attack doesn't work, you're just in serious trouble. So MaNa just tripled his all-time winnings. No, MaNa won a lot, mate. I don't know. You can take a look at esports earnings, but I think MaNa has probably won like $250,000 or something in prize money. Can we take a look at that? You can take a look at the BBB. I don't know how accurate this number is. 264k. So no, $150 is nice. But this man has been doing it for over a decade. He has been winning prize money in this game. I want to say probably since 2010, but the absolute latest was 2011. But I think MaNa was already very good in the very beginning. First few months of Wings of Liberty, MaNa was there. What's very impressive by MaNa is that he has just always like updated his skill set and kept it with modern times of StarCraft, even though it requires completely different skills to make it to the top now than it did 14 years ago. Super impressive that it can still compete at a high level. Congrats to MaNa for winning. And that obviously does it, guys, for Basilisk Big Brain Bouts number 83. That is a number that will live rent-free in my head. Last Friday was a total nightmare. I was very upset. I was very angry. We had such a good month of streaming with all the Chinese tournaments, and then it didn't even go out like a candle. It went out like a tsunami just hit me. Crash into crash into crash into crash into crash. It was really annoying. But it's all good. I am happy that 6 days later we were still able to finish up the event. And tomorrow we have a new shot at a successful evening of the Big Brain Bouts. Yes, I believe the matchups already got announced. We can take a little look at those. In the end, MaNa won 3-2. Twitter.com/Basilisk. I feel like the only time I use Twitter is to look for Big Brain Bouts. I mean, I do still open it on my phone from time to time. And then I go down the rabbit hole for like 12 seconds. And I'm like, no! I shouldn't be doing this to myself. It's not good. So these are the matchups of tomorrow. Since everybody is talking about Protoss, too much Protoss here, too much Protoss there. Very little Protoss tomorrow, guys. We have a Protoss in the very first round, where ENIAC gets another shot at this time against Jacob. Obviously, I'll talk all about this, but these guys are 3,200 MMR. Now, Reiner will not play PvT. He's not allowed. I forced him to play Zerg. I told him, we need your Zerg. So, there is no Reiner Protoss. There's many other tournaments where he will play Protoss, but I also, I am set on him playing Zerg. And he will play Zerg. He was okay with that. He wanted to play either off-race against someone that's a bit weaker, or he wanted to play Zerg, but then he didn't really want ZVZ. He said he wasn't in the mood for ZVZ. Alright, second match is a TVT, since it's still the least played matchup in Big Brain Bouts history. We've got Moja and Foxer. After that, we've got a ZVT between Wayne and Future. I think that's a fun one. And then last but not least, Reiner playing Zerg against Big Gabriel. Gabe, who is not very active right now when it comes to competitive Starcraft, said he was down, said he will do his best. Said he can't promise anything, but he's obviously going to be here.